If you've ever felt stuck or unsure about how to improve your life, this book is for you. You don't need fancy tools or perfect conditions to start making real changes. The truth is, you already have everything you need inside you right now. This guide will help you learn how to work with what you have. Step by step, you'll discover how small daily choices can build lasting habits, how to take control of your thoughts, and how to keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. I want to show you how to find strength in your own experiences and how to turn challenges into opportunities for growth. You'll learn practical ways to focus on today without getting overwhelmed by the future, and how to surround yourself with people who lift you up and push you to be better. This isn't about quick fixes or magic solutions. It's about steady, real progress that builds confidence and resilience over time. Throughout this journey, you'll find simple actions you can take right now. No confusing advice, no impossible goals, just clear steps that anyone can follow. If you stick with it and keep showing up for yourself, you'll be surprised how far you can go. So let's get started and learn how to create a better life by using what you already have. Chapter 1. Accept your current life without running from it. Most people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment. They wait for a better job, a better body, a better relationship, a better version of themselves before they truly begin living. They believe they need more time, more money, more confidence, more clarity before they can take the first step. But this waiting, this constant postponing of life, slowly becomes a habit, and before they know it, months pass. Then years, and they are still standing at the starting line, never moving forward because they believe they are not ready yet. The truth is, no one ever feels completely ready. Life rarely offers perfect conditions. Growth does not wait for ideal timing. The path forward starts exactly where you are right now, not where you wish to be. Acceptance is the beginning of all transformation. It is not giving up. It is not saying you are satisfied with every part of your life. It is choosing to be honest with yourself. It is choosing to see things as they are without pretending they are better or worse. Accepting your current life means acknowledging your strengths, your weaknesses, your regrets, your struggles, your missed chances, and your small victory. It means facing your reality with open eyes and steady breath. It means removing the illusion that life begins later and realizing it is happening now. You may not be where you thought you'd be. You may feel behind in many ways. You may carry pain, disappointment, or confusion, but you are still here. That means you have the ability to change, and to change, you must start from truth. You must meet yourself where you are, not where you think you should be. When you accept your current life, you free yourself from shame. You stop wasting energy fighting your circumstances and start using that energy to build something better. Most people avoid acceptance because they confuse it with defeat. They believe that if they accept their life, they are settling for less. But this is false. Acceptance is not surrender. It is the first honest agreement with reality. It is choosing to be fully present with yourself instead of escaping into fantasy or denial. There is power in knowing exactly where you stand, even if it is painful. From that place you can begin taking small and deliberate steps forward. You can rebuild, redirect, and reimagine. Avoiding the truth about your life takes many forms. Some people stay busy all the time, so they don't have to feel anything. Others numb themselves with distractions. Some blame other people for everything wrong in their lives. Some set impossible goals so they can stay stuck in disappointment, but the common thread is avoidance. Running from what is real only deepens suffering. It makes your challenges bigger than they are, because you never stop long enough to face them. Acceptance brings relief. It quiets the internal chaos. When you stop fighting against what is and start working with it, you begin to see opportunities. You begin to see what can be done today. You stop saying, "I'll start when I have more money," or "I'll be happy when I lose weight," or "I'll finally take action when I feel confident." You start saying, "I will use what I have right now to take the next step." That is the mindset that builds a strong life. Look around your current life. Look at your habits, your daily routines, your physical space, your emotional energy, your relationships. Look without judgment, just with awareness. What needs to be cleaned up? What needs attention? What is working? What is not? This process is uncomfortable, but it is necessary, because you cannot improve something if you are not willing to look at it. You cannot fix what you are afraid to acknowledge. You must be brave enough to say, "This is where I am." You might be tired, you might be confused, you might be unsure of your purpose. You might be feeling behind in your career or lonely in your relationships. But no matter what your current situation looks like, it is your starting point, and starting from honesty is far better than waiting for perfection. A person who accepts their life gains power over it. You begin to own your story instead of being ruled by it. You stop resenting the past and start learning from it. You stop hiding from the present and start shaping it. You stop fearing the future and start preparing for it. That is what it means to work with what you have. You don't need a better personality or a perfect plan. You need the willingness to use your current resources with courage and consistency. Working with what you have does not mean settling for less. It means using your current skills, your current energy, your current space, and your current mindset to begin. If you have 10 minutes a day, use that time wisely. If you have one supportive friend, reach out and deepen that connection. If you have the strength to change one habit, choose the one that matters most. Small actions grounded in acceptance produce real momentum. Change does not require massive upheaval, it requires honest commitment. People often believe they need to overhaul their entire lives at once to feel successful. But this belief is paralyzing. When you think you must change everything, you change nothing. The more realistic path is to begin where you are with what you can manage today. Over time, these small shifts compound into powerful transformation. If you are struggling, you are not weak, you are human. If you are afraid, you are not broken. You are alive. Your current life may be messy, incomplete, or unclear, but it is also filled with potential. You have learned lessons that can help others. You have survived things that once felt unbearable. You have thoughts, dreams, and goals that still matter. But none of it will come to life unless you stop waiting for better conditions and start with what's in your hands now. Do not waste time trying to become someone else before you start living. You already have enough to begin. The path to a better life is not reserved for perfect people. It belongs to those who accept their imperfections and take action anyway. Waiting for confidence is a trap. Waiting for clarity is a trap. Confidence grows from action. Clarity grows from effort. You must act before you feel ready. You must trust that the beginning will not be clean or easy, but it will be worth it. People often compare their behind-the-scenes life with someone else's highlight reel. They assume others have it all figured out and they are the only ones struggling. But every person you admire began where they were. They had doubts. They faced rejection. They made mistakes, but they didn't wait to become flawless before they moved forward. They used their pain, they used their experiences. They built something new from broken pieces. And so can you. When you accept your current life, you stop wishing to trade places with someone else. You realize your path is yours to walk. You realize that everything you have been through has given you insight, resilience, and perspective. These are priceless tools. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to trust that every moment counts. even the slow days, even the setbacks. Every part of your journey becomes meaningful when you stop trying to escape it. Make a promise to yourself. I will not run from my life. I will face it with open eyes. I will be honest about what is working and what is not. I will stop pretending to be okay when I'm not. I will use what I have instead of complaining about what I lack. I will start where I am, again and again, until I grow into the person I know I can be. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not unworthy. You are here, and that is enough. You may feel uncertain, but you are not lost. You may feel small, but your actions matter. Accepting your life is not a one-time choice. It is a daily decision to show up, to face the truth, and to work with what you have. When the voice of doubt creeps in, remind yourself that growth is not about speed. It is about direction. Each time you accept your life and take one step forward, you change your story, and over time, those steps will carry you to places you never thought possible. All you must do is begin where you are. Stay there, work there, build there. Your future depends on what you choose to do with your present. This is your moment, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally see the truth. Life doesn't start when things get better. It starts when you decide to show up fully, with your fears, with your flaws, with your strength, with your potential. So start where you are, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because now is all you ever have. Chapter 2. Take full control of your thoughts and choices. Every day, your thoughts shape your direction. They guide how you speak, how you act, and what you believe is possible. Without realizing it, many people allow their minds to run on autopilot, filled with noise that comes from the past, from fear, from comparison, or from the influence of others. When you don't take control of your thoughts, you begin to live by default instead of by choice. You begin to react instead of respond. You start to accept limitations that were never truly yours, and slowly, without even noticing, you give your power away. But the moment you decide to take full control of your thoughts, everything begins to change, because that's the moment you become responsible for how your life unfolds. Taking control of your thoughts does not mean you never feel doubt or fear. It means you recognize that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who directs them. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it must be trained. Just like the body needs exercise to grow stronger, your mind needs discipline and awareness to stay focused and aligned. The thoughts you allow into your mind every day matter. They are seeds, and the ones you nurture will grow into beliefs, into habits, and eventually into your future. Most people live in reaction mode. They wake up and immediately start responding to their environment. They scroll through their phones and absorb the opinions, moods, and energy of others before they even set an intention for the day. They replay old arguments in their heads. They think about what went wrong yesterday or what might go wrong tomorrow. And by the time the day begins, their mental energy is already spent. But it doesn't have to be this way. You have the ability to pause. You have the power to choose what thoughts stay and which ones leave. And when you learn how to do that consistently, you create a completely different life. You don't need to control every single thought that passes through your mind. That's impossible. But you must control the thoughts you give your attention to. A negative thought may enter, but you can decide not to follow it. You can notice it, name it, and let it pass. And then you can choose to focus on something better, something true, something useful, something that lifts you instead of pulling you down. This is the practice that creates mental freedom. It gives you the power to respond instead of react, to lead yourself with calm instead of chaos. Taking full control of your thoughts also means being deeply honest about what stories you've been telling yourself. You may have thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I always fail, or people never change. These thoughts may feel real, especially if you've repeated them for years, but just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's true. If a thought is keeping you stuck, if it makes you feel small, if it robs you of peace, then you must question it. Where did it come from? Who taught it to you? What evidence are you using to support it? And more importantly, is it helping you grow? When you become aware of the thoughts that control your decisions, you begin to notice the choices you've been making. Every decision you make is influenced by the thoughts you believe. If you think you're not capable, you will avoid trying. If you think success is for other people, you won't pursue it for yourself. If you believe the past defines your future, you will stay in patterns that no longer serve you. But once you begin to question those beliefs, once you begin to take full responsibility for your mindset, you unlock a deeper power, the power to choose differently. Your choices shape your life. Every day, you are faced with countless decisions. Some are small: what to eat, what to wear, how to spend your free time. Others are bigger: who to trust, what to commit to, how to respond to difficulty. And every one of these choices is a reflection of what you believe about yourself. That's why taking control of your thoughts is the foundation of making better choices. When your mind is clear, you make decisions from intention, not from fear or habit. It's easy to blame circumstances for how you think or act. It's easy to say, "I had no choice," or "that's just how I am." But the truth is, you always have a choice. You may not control everything that happens, but you always control how you interpret it, how you speak about it, and how you respond to it. That's where your freedom lives. That's where your growth begins. Taking full control of your choices means refusing to be passive in your own life. It means you stop waiting for permission. It means you stop letting life happen to you and start creating the life you want to live. This doesn't mean your choices will always be easy. Often, the right choice is the harder one. The choice to speak honestly, to take a risk, to stay disciplined, to walk away from something comfortable but unhealthy. These choices require strength, but that strength grows every time you make the decision that aligns with who you want to become. That strength is built in the moments when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when you choose the hard thing because it's right, not because it's easy. Taking full control of your thoughts and choices is a daily practice. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. It's about catching yourself when you drift into old patterns and gently bringing yourself back to center. It's about building a new relationship with your mind, a relationship based on awareness, trust, and growth. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You begin to notice your triggers. You start to respond with clarity instead of emotion. You pause before speaking. You reflect before reacting. You create space between stimulus and response, and in that space, you reclaim your power. Start small. Begin by noticing your first thought in the morning. Is it hopeful or heavy? Is it focused or scattered? And then choose a better one. Don't wait for motivation. Choose discipline. Don't wait for inspiration. Choose structure. Decide what kind of thoughts support your goals, and then feed those thoughts every day. Journal them, speak them, repeat them, and most importantly, act on them. A thought without action is just noise. But when thought and action align, you become unstoppable. You don't need to be perfect to change your life. You just need to be honest and consistent. You need to care enough about your future to protect your mind from negativity and train it to see opportunity where others see failure. You need to care enough about your growth to stop making excuses and start making decisions that match your values. No one else can do this for you, not your friends, not your partner, not your mentor. This is your mind. These are your choices. This is your responsibility. But that is not a burden, it is a gift. It means you are never stuck. You are never powerless. You are never at the mercy of your circumstances. You always have a say in how your story unfolds. The sooner you realize this, the sooner your life begins to change. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop chasing approval from people who don't understand your purpose. You stop fearing failure and start learning from it. You begin to move with clarity, with courage, and with a deep inner strength that cannot be shaken. Taking full control of your thoughts and choices is not a one-time decision. It is a lifestyle. It is a way of showing up in the world with integrity and purpose. It is how you become the person you were always meant to be. Not by waiting, not by wishing, but by deciding every day to lead yourself forward, one thought and one choice at a time. Chapter 3. Build daily habits that improve your future slowly. Lasting change is not built in moments of inspiration, but in quiet routines that you repeat each day. The things you do without applause, without pressure, without urgency, are the things that shape your future. Your daily habits are the foundation of your long-term success or your long-term disappointment. What you choose to repeat becomes what you become. And most people don't fail because of one big mistake. They fail because they never paid attention to the small actions that slowly led them away from who they wanted to be. You don't need a total life transformation to move forward. You need a set of habits that support your growth, even if that growth is slow. Too many people want dramatic change overnight, so they burn out trying to change everything at once. They follow a strict routine for a few days, feel exhausted, then return to the same old patterns. The truth is, fast changes rarely last, but slow, consistent habits, built with care and intention, become a part of who you are. They don't just improve your life, they create a new version of you over time. The goal is not to do more. The goal is to do the right things, daily, without overthinking. If you want to feel better, make movement a part of your day, even if it's just a walk around your block. If you want to grow mentally, read a few pages of a meaningful book before the day ends. If you want more clarity, spend 5 minutes writing your thoughts down. These are simple acts, but their value compounds when done regularly. You don't need to wait for the perfect time to start. You don't need to have the perfect energy, the perfect setup, or the perfect plan. You just need to begin. Habits are not built by motivation, they're built by repetition. Even if you feel tired, uncertain, or unmotivated, the act of showing up again and again trains your brain to trust the process. It teaches you to depend on discipline rather than emotion. It's easy to make progress when you feel great. It's much more powerful to make progress when you don't. Start small on purpose. Don't try to prove how committed you are by setting 10 habits at once. That's not strength. That's ego. Start with 1 or 2 daily actions you can sustain without stress. Keep them short and simple. If your goal is to improve your mindset, write 1 positive sentence each morning. If your goal is to save money, transfer a small amount to your savings every day. If your goal is to become more focused, start your day without checking your phone for the first 30 minutes. These aren't impressive to others, but that's the point. You're not building your life to impress people. You're building it to last. The most successful people are not the ones who do the most in a week. They're the ones who do the same few meaningful things every single day, no matter how they feel. They build habits that take care of their energy, their health, their priorities, and their peace. They don't wait for life to calm down. They create calm through structure. They don't chase motivation. They protect their habits so that motivation isn't needed. They don't try to make life easier, they make themselves stronger by practicing daily discipline. You will have days when you fall short. That's part of the process. One missed day doesn't erase your progress, but 2 missed days in a row is the beginning of a new habit, the habit of quitting. Your job is not to be perfect. Your job is to return to your habits no matter how far you drift. And you will drift. Life is unpredictable. Some days will overwhelm you, but when your habits are small, realistic, and meaningful, they become your anchor. They give you something to return to when everything else feels out of control. You don't need to track everything to make it work. But it helps to have visible reminders of your commitment. Keep a notebook where you log each time you complete your habits. Use a calendar to mark your progress. Not to create pressure, but to show yourself that consistency matters. Your brain responds to patterns. When it sees progress, it believes change is possible. When it sees daily action, it trusts you're serious. This belief turns into momentum, and momentum is how you push through resistance. If your habit becomes a burden, simplify it. You don't need a perfect morning routine. You need a quiet moment to center yourself before the day begins. You don't need a 1-hour workout. You need 10 minutes of movement that keeps your body in motion. You don't need to meditate for half an hour. You need 2 minutes to breathe and return to the present. Don't let your ambition trick you into overcomplicating the process. The goal is not to create a performance. The goal is to create rhythm, something you can return to, something you can grow with. Your future is built in invisible ways. No one sees you skipping the junk food. No one sees you opening the book instead of scrolling. No one claps when you choose water instead of soda. No one congratulates you for sleeping early, but your future sees it. Your future thanks you for it. Every time you choose the better option, even once, you train yourself to be stronger than your impulses. That quiet discipline becomes your power. It's important to review your habits often. What's working? What feels forced? What needs adjusting? Don't keep doing something just because it worked in the past. Your needs change. Your seasons shift. Your habits should evolve with you, but don't confuse evolution with quitting. You can adjust your habits without abandoning them. A healthy life is flexible but grounded. You learn to bend without breaking. You learn to grow without rushing. Habits are not about perfection, they're about progress. If you do something meaningful every day for a year, even if it's small, your life will look different, not because you found a secret shortcut, but because you stayed with something long enough to let it grow. People often want results quickly, but the best results come slowly. The best results come quietly. They sneak up on you after months of doing what no one else was willing to do consistently. They show up after you've almost forgotten how far you've come. If you ever feel discouraged, zoom out. Look at who you were 6 months ago. Look at what you know now. Look at the things that used to shake you that no longer have power over you. Change is slow because it's deep. You are building something stable, not something loud. And deep change takes time. It takes patience. It takes habits that support the future version of you, not the impulsive version of you that wants fast rewards. You will never regret the time you spent becoming more disciplined. You will never regret the energy you gave to your habits. You may regret missed chances, wasted time, or moments of laziness, but you won't regret the effort you gave to becoming better. That effort makes you proud. That effort creates self-respect. That effort is what you carry with you when life gets hard. Because even when everything else fails, your habits keep you steady. You are not too late. You are not too slow. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to begin building better habits. And when you build them with care, consistency and patience, your future will slowly start to shift. Not because you rushed it, but because you rushed it, but because you trusted the power of daily effort. You built the life you wanted by showing up for it, one small habit at a time, and that's how real change always begins. Chapter 4. Focus only on what you can do today. You only ever live one day at a time, yet your mind tries to live in every direction at once. It replays the past and imagines every version of the future, pulling your attention away from the one place where real change can happen today. Worry builds when you try to solve problems that haven't happened yet. Guilt grows when you keep reliving things you can't go back and fix. But clarity begins when you bring your focus to what's in front of you. You can't control yesterday, you can't predict tomorrow, but you can decide how you will live today, and that decision holds more power than most people realize. Most of the pressure you feel comes from stacking too many days on top of one another. You wake up thinking about everything that must be done in a week, a month, or a year, and suddenly even the smallest task feels heavy. You feel overwhelmed not because today is too hard, but because you're trying to carry every possible outcome at once. But if you stop, breathe, and ask yourself what needs to happen just today, things become clear. You don't need to solve your entire life in one day. You just need to move forward a little bit. You just need to make one decision, take one step, finish one task, keep one promise. That's enough. Some people live in constant fear of falling behind. They worry they're not doing enough, being enough, becoming enough. But this fear often comes from forgetting that life is not lived in one grand leap. It's lived in small actions taken repeatedly. When you focus only on what you can do today, you free yourself from the fear of being behind. You realize that progress is not about how much you do, but about how consistently you show up. You don't need to be ahead, you need to be present. People lose their direction, not because they don't have dreams, but because they forget how to stay grounded in the present moment. They become stuck in future thinking, always asking, what if this fails? Or what if I never get there? But these questions don't help, they distract, they make the journey seem longer than it is. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do right now to move forward? That question brings you back to reality. That question gives you power. That question helps you find control in moments that feel uncertain. It's tempting to chase big results fast. It's tempting to rush through today just to get to a better version of tomorrow. But every version of your future is built on how you live today. If you can't find focus now, you won't find it later. If you don't value the process now, you won't respect the outcome later. The people who create meaningful change in their lives are not those who wait for the perfect moment. They are the ones who use each day with intention, no matter how small their steps may seem. Focusing on today does not mean ignoring your goals. It means breaking them into pieces you can handle. You don't climb a mountain by staring at the peak. You move by planting your foot on the next step. Big goals require daily focus, not constant anxiety. Look at your goal, then ask what part of it can be started today. Maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's reading a chapter, maybe it's cleaning your environment. The point is to act where you are. Dreams are built in pieces, and the piece you have right now is today. One of the hardest things to learn is how to let go of what you can't do today. Sometimes you want to fix everything at once. You want to resolve every problem, fix every weakness, repair every relationship, but you can't. And trying to do it all at once only burns you out. Real strength is not found in doing everything. It's found in knowing what to prioritize. Some things can wait. Some things are not yours to carry right now. Learning to say not today is a form of maturity. It means you understand that focus requires boundaries. You'll have days where you don't feel motivated, days where nothing goes the way you planned, days where your energy is low and your heart is heavy. That's exactly when this principle matters most. When life feels too loud, focus on the smallest action that still points you forward. Maybe you don't have the strength for a full workout, but you can stretch for 10 minutes. Maybe your mind is foggy, but you can still drink water, write a few lines, or send the message you've been putting off. There is always something within your control, even when most things feel out of reach. The more you train yourself to focus only on today, the less anxious you become. Anxiety feeds on uncertainty. It grows when your mind tries to live in the future where nothing is guaranteed. But when you bring your focus back to today, you remember that you are not powerless. You remember that effort is not wasted. Just because results aren't immediate, you remember that progress is made one decision at a time, and those decisions add up. If you want peace, stay in today. If you want focus, stay in today. If you want results, stay in today. The person you become is not created all at once. It's created through the way you handle the next hour, the next task, the next conversation. If you treat today with care, you build a future that reflects that care. If you neglect today, chasing something that doesn't exist yet, you lose the only time that ever really belongs to you. You don't need to rush. You don't need to panic. You don't need to solve every problem in your head before you act. What you need is a grounded commitment to do what matters most today. Show up for yourself in the small ways. Clean your space. Respond to what's important. Speak kindly. Follow through. These things look small, but they create the structure that your future depends on. You build trust with yourself, not by setting huge goals, but by honoring today's responsibilities. Some people live in regret because they didn't make the most of their days. Others live in fear because they always feel behind. But you can live with strength by making today count. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, but intentionally. You don't need to have it all figured out. You need to know what your next step is and be willing to take it. Let today be your focus. Wake up and ask yourself what matters most today. Then protect that answer with your time, your choices, and your attention. Don't get lost in what you can't do yet. Stay committed to what you can do now. Don't compare your pace to anyone else. They're not living your day. You are. Make it count. And if today feels like a repeat of yesterday, that's okay. Real growth often looks like repetition. It looks like making the same choice again because it's the right one. It looks like showing up even when no one notices. It looks like becoming a little stronger each time you stay focused when your mind tries to wander. Eventually, that consistency becomes progress. That progress becomes confidence, and that confidence becomes your momentum. Every goal you want, every change you hope for, every version of your future begins with how you handle today. So handle it well. Handle it with clarity. Handle it with care. Because today is not just a day, it's a decision, and that decision is always yours to make. Chapter 5. Use your past pain to grow with strength. Pain changes people. It marks them. It leaves behind memories, lessons, and invisible weight. It can break someone down, or it can wake them up, and the difference lies in what you decide to do with it. Everyone carries pain from somewhere. Maybe it was a betrayal, a loss, a failure, a mistake, or a season of life where everything felt too heavy. You didn't choose that pain, but you can choose how it shapes you. You can let it harden your heart or open your eyes. You can use it as a reason to stop trying or as fuel to grow into someone stronger, clearer, and more capable than you've ever been. You don't grow by pretending it didn't hurt. You grow by being honest with yourself about what happened and how it changed you. Some people avoid this truth for years. They bury what they don't want to feel. They smile through it. They stay busy. They keep moving forward without ever healing. But pain that's never faced becomes the foundation of patterns that limit your life. It shows up in how you speak to yourself. It shows up in your relationships. It shows up in the goals you avoid and the boundaries you never set. Pain ignored does not disappear. It grows in the dark. It turns into quiet bitterness, anxiety, and regret. But when you finally stop running and start listening to your pain, it becomes something different. It becomes a teacher. It shows you what you value. It shows you what needs healing. It shows you where your strength was hidden. You begin to realize that everything you went through was not just about survival. It was also preparing you for something more. You begin to see that pain does not mean weakness. It means you've lived. It means you've felt deeply. And it means you're still here, still capable of choosing who you want to become next. Pain changes your perspective. After you've been hurt, you see life differently. You see people with more compassion. You speak with more patience. You don't take peace for granted. You don't chase shallow things. And if you let it, that pain can shape you into someone who moves through life with depth and clarity. You stop judging others so quickly. You stop needing validation from outside sources. You start building your life with intention, because you understand what it cost to lose yourself. Growth from pain begins when you take responsibility for your healing. That doesn't mean you take blame for what happened. It means you stop waiting for someone else to make it right. You stop giving the past permission to control your future. You stop waiting for closure that may never come, and instead, you begin the hard, quiet work of repairing your inner world. That work may involve reflection, forgiveness, setting boundaries, or facing the truth you've been avoiding. It's not easy, but it is the most important work you'll ever do. You may never be the same person you were before the pain. That's okay, you don't need to be. Growth is not about returning to who you were. It's about becoming someone wiser and more grounded. It's about using what you've learned to make better choices and to live from a deeper sense of truth. The old version of you didn't know what you know now. That's not something to mourn, that's something to build on. Some people let pain shrink them. They stop trusting, they stop trying, they stay small to avoid being hurt again. But that only creates more pain. You are not protecting yourself by closing off your heart. You are only postponing your healing. Strength is not in pretending you don't care. Strength is in staying open while being wise. It's in knowing your worth. It's in choosing to live fully, even after being disappointed. It's in facing your pain with courage instead of letting it define your story. You can't change the past, but you can change how you carry it. You don't have to hold it like a burden. You can carry it like a lesson. Not all pain is meant to be understood, but all pain can be used. You can use it to become more patient with others. You can use it to protect your peace. You can use it to raise your standards. You can use it to remind yourself what truly matters. When you shift from asking why did this happen to me to what can I build from this, you reclaim your power. Healing does not erase pain. It transforms it. It doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering differently. You still carry the memory, but without the weight. You still know what happened, but it no longer controls you, and that freedom gives you room to grow. You begin to move forward, not from fear, but from understanding. You begin to make choices that serve your peace, instead of repeating old patterns that kept you stuck. Sometimes pain is not loud. Sometimes it shows up quietly, in self-doubt, in hesitation, in the way you expect disappointment. You may not even realize how much of your life has been shaped by things that once hurt you. But when you pause and reflect, when you ask yourself why you avoid certain things, or fear certain people, or repeat certain habits, You begin to uncover the places where healing is still needed, and those are the places where your next growth begins. You are not broken because you've been hurt. You are human. You are not weak because you still feel pain. You are alive. You don't need to wait until you're fully healed to move forward. You just need to choose not to let pain stop you. Healing and growth can happen side by side. You can build something new while carrying scars. You can take action even when your heart still aches. You don't need to have everything resolved to start becoming the person you were meant to be. Look at your past pain and ask yourself what it taught you. Did it show you what you value? Did it help you realize what you will no longer tolerate? Did it teach you how to protect your peace or raise your voice? Did it make you more compassionate, more focused, more intentional? Pain often gives us clarity. We couldn't gain any other way. You can use that clarity to make your next chapter stronger. You can use it to choose differently, live more deeply, and speak more truthfully. Do not rush through your healing. Do not feel ashamed of your scars. Growth is not a race. Strength is not about how quickly you move on. It's about how honestly you face your pain and how you use it to build something better. Let your past pain remind you of what you've overcome, not what you've lost. Let it shape you into someone who lives with meaning and moves with purpose. Let it push you toward a life where peace is not something you chase, but something you create. You are not who you were when you were hurting. You are not defined by what went wrong. You are defined by what went wrong. You are defined by what you choose to build next. Use your past pain not as a reason to close your heart, but as a reason to live with more strength, more wisdom, and more depth. Because pain didn't end your story. It prepared you to write the next chapter with greater clarity than ever before. Chapter 6. Turn small efforts into daily wins that matter. You don't need to do something extraordinary to make progress. You don't need to wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect amount of motivation. What you need is the willingness to show up with whatever energy you have and turn it into something real. Small efforts are not insignificant. They are the beginning of everything that matters. They are where consistency is built. They are how you prove to yourself that change is possible, even on the days that feel average. And when you learn to turn these small efforts into daily wins, your life begins to shift in ways you never imagined. Every day gives you a choice. You can wait for the right mood, or you can create momentum. You can stay stuck in overthinking, or you can do the next small thing. One small step may not feel like much, but it moves you forward. It breaks the pattern of waiting. It interrupts the habit of staying still. And that movement matters more than most people realize. When you do one thing that aligns with your goals, even if it takes 5 minutes, you prove that you are not just wishing for growth, you are building it. The most powerful changes in life are not made through massive one-time efforts. They are made through small actions repeated with intention. You don't need to clean your entire life in a day. You just need to clear your space today. You don't need to fix every bad habit this week. You just need to make one better decision today. That's what creates a win. Not perfection, not performance. Progress. A win is not measured by how loud it is. A win is measured by how aligned it is with who you want to become. When you recognize that small efforts count, you stop waiting to feel ready. You realize readiness is not something you feel before taking action. It's something that grows after you've acted. You might not feel like exercising, but if you put on your shoes and move your body for 10 minutes, you've already won. You might not want to sit down and write, but if you open the page and write one honest sentence, you've already won. That's how you build momentum, through action, not through thought, through doing, not through waiting. Daily wins are built on intentional decisions. That means being aware of what matters most to you right now. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do something meaningful. Ask yourself at the start of the day, what one small thing would make today feel like a win? It could be making a phone call you've been avoiding, finishing a task that's been draining your focus, preparing a healthy meal, reading a few pages of a helpful book, or simply going to bed on time. These may not impress anyone else, but they'll change your relationship with yourself. The more small wins you create, the more trust you build with yourself. You stop seeing yourself as someone who always quits. You stop believing the story that says, "I never follow through," because each small effort becomes proof that you do show up, that you do care, that you do follow through on your intentions. And that belief starts to shift everything, from the way you carry yourself to the way you respond to challenges. It's easy to overlook the impact of tiny wins because they don't come with immediate rewards. You won't always see results today, but that doesn't mean your effort was wasted. Growth is invisible before it becomes obvious. Progress is happening quietly, underneath the surface, while you're building discipline and consistency. It's not glamorous, it's not dramatic, but it's real, and over time, it compounds. The small wins stack up, and they become the solid ground your future stands on. Some days will feel harder than others. On those days, the win is simply showing up. Maybe you didn't do everything you planned, but you still kept the habit alive. You still moved. You still stayed aligned with your purpose. And that's not failure, that's strength. You don't need to outperform your best day every single time. You need to stay consistent with small effort, even when it feels quiet, slow, or unnoticed. That kind of consistency builds resilience. That kind of effort creates self-respect. You don't need motivation to build a better life. You need a system of small efforts that you return to no matter what. A system that says, "I do this because it matters. I do this because I want to be better. I do this because the small step today is easier than the regret tomorrow." And when you have that kind of system, you don't need to feel perfect every morning. You just need to follow through on the actions that match your values. Let yourself feel proud of your small wins. Celebrate them. Acknowledge them. Don't brush them off like they mean nothing. When you get up early and use your time well, that's a win. When you hold your tongue during a tense moment, that's a win. When you make the healthy choice, that's a win. When you clean your space, send the message, ask the question, or forgive yourself for falling short and try again, that is a win. The more you value these moments, the more they multiply. You don't have to share your wins with the world. You don't have to prove your effort to anyone. This journey is between you and your future. This commitment is personal. What matters is that you keep showing up for yourself even when no one's watching. That's how confidence is built, not through praise, but through quiet self-leadership. You get stronger every time you say, "I did something today, and that's enough." Don't underestimate what small effort can lead to. What feels ordinary today can create something extraordinary over time. That one sentence can become a chapter. That one workout can become a healthier body. That one kind gesture can heal a relationship. That $1 saved can grow into security. That one positive habit can replace years of self-sabotage. The future is not built in one leap. It is built in small steps that you choose not to skip. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you miss the mark. But a missed day does not erase your effort. A mistake does not cancel your progress. What matters is that you return to your wins the next day, that you pick up where you left off, that you don't let a bad moment turn into a lost week. You win by returning. You win by showing up again. You win by remembering that your future is still being written, and you still have the pen. You have more power than you think. You don't need to wait for the perfect plan or the ideal version of yourself. You are ready to begin where you are, with what you have, and turn that into something real. One small effort, one clear decision, one meaningful action, today, then again tomorrow, and again the next day. Over time, that's how you change. That's how you rise. That's how you become the version of yourself you've always wanted to be. Not all at once, but one small win at a time. Chapter 7. Find your purpose by listening to your values. You don't find your purpose by copying someone else's path or chasing what looks impressive from the outside. You find your purpose by paying attention to what matters most to you. What makes you feel alive, what you're willing to struggle for, and what you want your life to stand for. Purpose isn't hidden somewhere waiting to be discovered. It's revealed slowly when you start listening to your values and making choices that reflect them. But most people never take the time to ask what they truly care about. They move through life on autopilot, shaped by pressure, fear, or distraction. And then they wonder why they feel lost. Your values are the principles that guide you when everything else feels unclear. They help you decide what's right, what's wrong, what's worth your energy, and what isn't. They're personal, not public. They don't always match what the world praises. But when you honor your values, you begin to feel more connected to yourself. You stop needing constant validation. You stop chasing empty goals. You start building a life that fits you, not one that simply looks good on the surface. Purpose is not something loud. It doesn't always come with a big announcement or a life-changing event. Sometimes it starts with a quiet feeling, a moment when you realize, this matters to me, I want more of this. That moment may come when you help someone, when you speak honestly, when you create something, or when you act in a way that aligns with who you want to be. The key is to notice those moments. Don't ignore them. Don't downplay them. They are the signs pointing you toward your purpose. To understand your values, pay attention to your strong emotions. What makes you angry? What brings you peace? What makes you proud? What makes you uncomfortable? These reactions are clues. If you feel deeply upset when someone is dishonest, integrity might be one of your values. If you feel most energized when helping others, contribution may be at the center of who you are. If you feel calm when your environment is quiet and clear, peace may be a non-negotiable for you. Start there. Ask yourself what values keep showing up in your life, even when no one's watching. Once you've identified a few values that feel true to you, use them to guide your decisions. You don't need a perfect plan for the next 10 years. You just need to take the next step that reflects your values. If growth is a value, maybe you read something challenging today. If connection is a value, maybe you reach out to someone you care about. If freedom is a value, maybe you start saying no to what drains you. Each time you live by your values, you feel a little more at peace, a little more clear, a little more purposeful. Don't confuse purpose with career. Your job may or may not reflect your purpose. That's okay. Your purpose is bigger than any title. It's the reason behind your actions. It's the energy that runs through everything you do. You can live with purpose in how you speak, how you treat people, how you handle challenges, how you show up for yourself. When you act in alignment with your values, even in the smallest ways, you are living with purpose, even if no one else sees it. You don't need to wait for clarity to start living intentionally. Often, clarity comes from taking action. You try something, reflect on how it feels, then adjust. The more you live by your values, the more your purpose takes shape. You stop guessing who you are and start becoming who you were always meant to be. That's not something anyone else can decide for you. It has to come from within. It has to come from your willingness to sit with yourself, ask hard questions, and listen closely to the answers that rise. Your purpose will evolve as you grow. What matters to you now might change 5 years from now. That's natural. Life moves in seasons. Each season teaches you something new about yourself. What's important is not locking yourself into one version of purpose, but continuing to check in with yourself and ask, does this still feel true? Does this still matter to me? Purpose is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice of choosing what aligns, what serves, and what reflects your deeper truth. Some people avoid this kind of reflection because it feels uncomfortable. It requires honesty. It requires letting go of paths that no longer fit. But avoiding discomfort only delays fulfillment. At some point you have to stop living by default and start living by design. And that starts with your values. When you begin aligning your choices with what matters most, life doesn't get easier, but it gets clearer. You know why you're doing what you're doing. You stop chasing things that don't satisfy. You find peace in simplicity. Your values will sometimes push you to make hard choices. You might walk away from situations that feel safe but dishonest. You might turn down opportunities that don't align with your integrity. You might take risks to live more freely, even when others don't understand. That's the cost of living with purpose. It's not about comfort, it's about truth. And truth comes with responsibility. But it also brings peace, a deep, unshakable peace that reminds you you're on the right path, even when it's hard. You are not here to live someone else's version of success. You are not here to check off boxes that mean nothing to you. You are here to build a life that reflects who you are at your core. That life won't look like anyone else's, and it shouldn't. Your purpose is as unique as your voice, your story, your experience. Don't waste time comparing. Don't dilute your values to fit into places where you don't belong. Stand firm in what you believe matters. That's where your direction will come from. Living with purpose doesn't require a dramatic change. It starts with small daily decisions. What you say yes to, what you say no to, how you spend your time, how you respond to challenges. Are you acting in a way that reflects your value? Are you building a life you respect? These are the questions that matter. And you don't need to have every answer right now. You just need to be willing to ask, to reflect, and to live a little more honestly each day. You will not find purpose by looking outside yourself. It won't come from someone else's advice, someone else's praise, or someone else's approval. It will come when you quiet the noise and listen to what your life is trying to tell you. It will come when you stop performing and start being, when you stop chasing and start aligning, when you stop living for the future and start honoring the present. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect. You can start now. You can ask yourself what truly matters and take one step that honors it. You can build a life of meaning, not by doing more, but by doing what matters most. And when you live that way, your purpose will not be a mystery. It will be the natural result of a life lived in truth, a life shaped by values, a life that feels like your own. Chapter 8. Break excuses by doing one hard thing daily. Excuses are easy to create and even easier to believe. They sound reasonable, they protect your comfort. They tell you things like, not today. You're not ready, maybe next time. But if you keep listening to your excuses, you'll stay stuck in the same place, overthinking, waiting, avoiding, drifting. The only way to break the pattern is to do one hard thing each day. One thing that challenges your limits. One thing that stretches your discipline. One thing that makes you uncomfortable, but moves you forward. When you do this, you stop letting fear control you. You stop letting comfort shape your future. You start proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you think. Doing something hard doesn't mean doing something extreme. It means doing something you normally avoid. Maybe it's having a conversation you've been putting off. Maybe it's waking up early when your mind tells you to sleep in. Maybe it's saying no when you're used to pleasing everyone. Maybe it's showing up to the gym, turning off distractions, being fully honest with yourself, or doing the work even when no one is watching. Whatever it is, the power isn't in how hard it is. The power is in the fact that you did it anyway. When you face one hard thing daily, you break the story that says you're stuck. You start creating a new identity, one that's not built on perfection, but on effort. You begin to see yourself as someone who shows up no matter what. That's where real confidence comes from. Not from achievements, but from self-respect. Every hard thing you do adds another layer of strength to your character. It reinforces the truth that you are in control, not your excuses, not your feelings, not your fears. Most people wait for motivation to feel like doing something hard. That wait becomes the excuse. But motivation isn't the key. Discipline is. And discipline is built by taking action before you feel like it. You don't get stronger by thinking about doing the hard thing. You get stronger by doing it anyway. Even when it's inconvenient. Even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it would be easier to avoid. That's the moment that matters. The moment when you choose growth over comfort. It's not about doing something massive. It's about doing something intentional. You can start small. The point is not to overwhelm yourself. The point is to build consistency. If every day you do one thing that makes you just a little stronger, a little bolder, a little more honest, you are moving in the right direction. You are becoming the kind of person who no longer lets excuses lead your life. You are becoming someone who acts with purpose. Excuses will always sound convincing because they're built on your fears. But fears are often exaggerated. The moment you take action, you shrink the fear. You realize it wasn't as powerful as it seemed. And even if the task is still hard, you now have proof that you can handle it. Each day you do one difficult thing, you take a brick out of the wall that excuses have built around your potential. That wall won't fall all at once, but brick by brick it will come down. When you choose to do what's difficult instead of what's comfortable, you create mental clarity. You stop doubting yourself so much. You stop making decisions based on emotion. You start relying on what you know is right, not just what feels good in the moment. That's how you build the mindset of someone who finishes what they start. That's how you break the cycle of regret, because the more you delay the hard thing, the heavier it becomes. But once you act, that weight lifts, and in its place comes pride. Doing one hard thing every day also teaches you how to manage pressure. Life is unpredictable. Challenges come when you least expect them. But when you've trained yourself to lean into discomfort daily, you build inner strength that doesn't collapse under pressure. You stop seeing challenges as threats and start seeing them as opportunities. That shift in perspective makes all the difference. You stop asking, "Can I handle this?" and start saying, "I've handled hard things before, I'll handle this too." You are not too weak. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. You're just one decision away from a different direction, one hard action away from momentum. And the more you repeat this practice, the less power your excuses have over you. You begin to see them for what they are. Just thoughts, not facts. Just temporary feelings, not fixed limits. And once you stop giving them authority, you create space for growth. This approach isn't about punishing yourself, it's about freeing yourself. It's about no longer being controlled by fear, doubt, or hesitation. When you choose to do what's hard, you take your power back. You stop waiting to be rescued by some better version of yourself in the future. You realize the change begins now in this decision, in this moment, and then you make the next one. And the next one after that. Progress is not about being perfect every day. It's about refusing to give up on yourself. People who grow consistently aren't the ones who have it easiest. They're the ones who show up for themselves even when it's hardest. They build the habit of doing one hard thing daily, not because they enjoy pain, but because they value who they're becoming. You're not supposed to enjoy every step. You're supposed to keep walking. Growth is not found in avoiding discomfort. It's found in walking through it with courage and clarity. The excuse will always offer an easy out, but what it doesn't give you is freedom. What it doesn't give you is strength. What it doesn't give you is the peace that comes from knowing you did what you needed to do. That kind of peace is earned through effort, through discipline, through the decision to act, even when your mind offers 1,000 reasons not to. And every time you follow through, your future becomes a little stronger. You don't need to conquer your entire life today. You just need to take responsibility for one thing you've been avoiding. Maybe it's getting honest about your health. Maybe it's setting a boundary. Maybe it's starting that thing you said you'd start months ago. Whatever it is, face it. Don't run from it. Do it scared if you have to, because the more you practice facing discomfort, the less control it has over you, and that's how you grow. Not once in a while, but every single day. Your life changes when you start doing the things that your excuses told you were too hard. That's when real growth begins. That's when confidence is built. That's when you begin to respect yourself on a deeper level, not because of how far you've come, but because of how willing you are to show up. Not because you feel fearless, but because you acted anyway. You already know what the hard thing is. It's the thing that's been sitting in the back of your mind, the thing you keep postponing, the thing you hope will get easier with time. It won't, but you will get stronger, and strength starts with the decision to do one hard thing daily. No matter how small it is, that decision rewrites your patterns. That decision breaks your limits. That decision changes everything. Chapter 9. Remove distractions that block your inner progress. Most people are not failing because they lack potential or desire. They are stuck because they are distracted. Their attention is scattered. Their energy is drained. Their time is consumed by things that offer nothing in return. Distractions don't always look dangerous. They often feel normal. They come in the form of endless scrolling, meaningless conversations, constant noise, and habits that seem harmless but slowly pull you away from who you're trying to become. You don't realize how much they're costing you until one day you wake up and wonder where your peace, focus, and progress went. If you want to grow, you must learn to remove the distractions that block your inner development. You have to choose clarity over chaos, presence over noise, and discipline over the comfort of mindless habits. Growth requires space. Space to think. Space to reflect. Space to connect with what matters. When your mind is constantly filled with updates, entertainment, and opinions, it has no room to breathe. You can't access your wisdom in the middle of noise. You can't hear your own voice when it's drowned out by the voices of 100 other people. If you want to rise, you must be willing to step away from what pulls you down. And most of the time, what pulls you down is not something loud or extreme. It's the small things you allow repeatedly, the distractions you defend even though they give you nothing in return. You must start by being honest about what's stealing your focus. Not everything that looks productive is helping you grow. Not every conversation is worth your time. Not every piece of information deserves your attention. Begin with the question, what is taking more from me than it gives? That question will reveal where your energy is leaking. And once you see it, don't ignore it. Don't justify it. Don't convince yourself you can handle it. You don't grow by managing your distractions. You grow by removing them. There is nothing wrong with rest. There is nothing wrong with entertainment. But when those things become habits you use to avoid your real work, your real thoughts, your real healing, your real growth, they become distractions. They stop serving you and start controlling you. That's when you need to take a step back and reset. You need to remind yourself of what matters. You need to remember that your time is not unlimited, that every hour spent numbing yourself is an hour you could have used to build something real within you. Distractions are sneaky because they offer quick relief. They feel good for a moment, but the moment passes, and what you avoided is still there. The hard decision, the uncomfortable truth, the discipline you're avoiding, the emotional work you keep pushing away. Growth is not about escaping those things, it's about turning toward them, facing them. And you can't do that if your mind is always running from one distraction to the next. That's why creating space matters. That's why silence matters. That's why focus matters. Because when you remove distractions, you make room for depth. You give yourself the gift of your full presence. One of the most powerful things you can do is turn off what doesn't need to be on. Log out. Mute the noise. Walk away from conversations that go in circles. Unfollow what no longer inspires you. Declutter your environment. Schedule time without screens. Say no to activities that drain you. Not because you're trying to be perfect. Not because you're trying to escape the world, but because you're choosing to live with intention. You're choosing to give your best energy to what actually matters. And that's not something the world will always encourage, but it's something your future self will thank you for. Distractions don't just block your productivity, they block your self-awareness. They keep you from noticing your emotions, they dull your inner voice, they keep you moving fast, but learning nothing. When you remove distractions, you start to notice things, you start to feel what you've been suppressing. You start to hear the thoughts you've been avoiding. That might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's the beginning of real progress, because the only way to change your life is to face what's happening within you, and that requires attention, honesty, and space. You don't need to eliminate every distraction forever, you just need to create enough boundaries to protect your focus. You need to build habits that support depth over noise. That could mean setting time limits. That could mean having offline hours each day. That could mean choosing books over feeds, quiet over noise, reflection over reaction. It's not about being extreme. It's about being aware. It's about asking yourself regularly, is this helping me grow? Is this building the life I want? Is this worth my time, my energy, my mind? When you start removing distractions, you begin to move differently. You make decisions more clearly. You feel more grounded. You become more productive, not because you're working harder, but because you're finally focused. You're finally present. You're finally aligned. That alignment creates momentum. That momentum creates results. And those results create confidence. But it all begins with the decision to take your attention seriously. Your focus is your most valuable resource. Where you place it determines the quality of your life. If it's always scattered, your energy will be scattered. If it's always external, your peace will be fragile. But if you learn to protect your focus, your life will reflect that clarity. You'll begin to move with intention. You'll stop reacting to everything. You'll start building from within. And over time, that inner progress becomes unshakable. You are not behind. You are not weak. You are not incapable. You are simply distracted. And the moment you decide to reclaim your focus, everything changes. You begin to connect with your purpose again. You begin to remember what matters. You begin to see that most of what steals your time is not essential. You don't need more hours in the day. You need to use your hours differently. You need to stop giving your attention to what leaves you empty. Clarity is a result of subtraction, not addition. You don't need to add more to your life to feel better. You need to remove what blocks you from feeling, from growing, from becoming. And that removal begins with attention, with awareness, with the courage to say, I don't need this in my life anymore. That courage is what unlocks everything else. Because when you remove distractions, you find something far more valuable. You find yourself, you find your focus, you find your rhythm, you find your strength, not by doing more, but by doing less with more purpose, not by consuming more information, but by sitting with what you already know, not by being everywhere, but by being fully present where you are. That's where inner progress begins. That's where transformation starts. And that's something no distraction can ever give you. But it's something you can give yourself. Starting now. Chapter 10. Respect your time by using it with clarity. Time is the one resource you can never get back, no matter how much you want or how hard you try. It is not endless and it is not guaranteed. The way you treat your time reveals how much you respect yourself and your goals. Using time without clarity is like trying to build a house without a blueprint. You might work hard, but without a clear purpose, your effort scatters and your progress slows. Respecting your time means choosing where to place your attention and energy with intention. It means making decisions about what truly deserves your hours instead of letting life happen to you. When you understand that your time is valuable, you start guarding it carefully. You begin to notice how easy it is to waste it on distractions, meaningless tasks, or busy work that feels productive but leads nowhere. Without clarity, your days fill up with urgent but unimportant things. You feel busy but not fulfilled. You move fast but not forward. That's why clarity is the foundation of respect for your time. When you know what matters, you can say no to what doesn't. When you know your priorities, you stop getting pulled in every direction. You create space for what counts. Respecting your time requires a clear sense of what you want to accomplish. It is not about scheduling every minute or forcing yourself into a rigid routine. It is about having a clear map for your day and your life that aligns with your values and goals. This clarity allows you to make choices with confidence instead of hesitation. It helps you avoid the trap of overcommitting or settling for less than you deserve. When your decisions are clear, your actions become meaningful. You stop wandering and start building. To use your time with clarity, begin by identifying your top priorities for the day. These are not endless tasks or wish lists, but a few meaningful actions that move you closer to your bigger goals. Keep your list simple and focused. Don't overload yourself with to-dos that don't matter. When you respect your time, you treat it like a limited currency. You invest it wisely in the activities that produce real value in your life. You don't spend it carelessly on distractions or non-essential demands. Part of respecting your time is learning to say no. Saying no doesn't mean you are selfish. It means you understand your limits and your worth. It means you protect your energy for what matters most. When you say no to one thing, you say yes to another, the thing that aligns with your vision. This skill of setting boundaries is essential for clarity. It frees you from the guilt of trying to please everyone and the exhaustion of overextending yourself. It helps you create a daily environment where your focus thrives. Using time with clarity also means being present in each moment. Multitasking and constant distraction make your time less valuable because your attention is divided. When you focus fully on one task, you work more efficiently and enjoy the process more. Respecting your time means resisting the urge to jump between tasks, checking your phone constantly, or letting your mind wander. Instead, you commit your full presence to whatever you are doing right now. This simple shift improves both your productivity and your satisfaction. Another way to respect your time is to plan for rest and renewal. Clarity doesn't mean pushing yourself non-stop. It means knowing when to work and when to pause. Without rest, your energy drains, your focus fades, and your decisions suffer. You respect your time best when you balance effort with recovery. Schedule breaks, sleep well, and create moments to recharge your mind and body. This way, you can bring your best self to each task and avoid burnout. When you practice clarity in your time use, you notice how much more intentional your days become. You start to catch yourself before saying yes to things that don't serve you. You stop reacting to every demand and instead respond with purpose. This doesn't mean everything will be perfect. You will still face unexpected challenges and distractions. But with clarity, you are better equipped to handle them without losing sight of your priorities. Respecting your time also means reflecting regularly on how you spend it. Take a moment at the end of each day or week to review what worked and what didn't. Were you focused on what mattered? Did you give yourself enough space to think and create? Were you kind to yourself when things didn't go as planned? This reflection is not for judgment, but for growth. It helps you adjust your choices and stay aligned with your vision. You will find that respecting your time creates a ripple effect in your life. Your relationships improve because you show up more fully. Your work improves because you invest quality attention. Your stress decreases because you're not rushing or overwhelmed. Your confidence grows because you are building momentum toward your goals. This kind of respect for your own time teaches others to respect it too. It becomes a foundation for healthy boundaries and meaningful interactions. You don't need to have perfect clarity all the time. Life is complex and unpredictable. Sometimes priorities shift or unexpected demands arise. But even in uncertainty, you can practice respect by making small conscious choices. You can pause before committing. You can check in with yourself about what feels right. You can give yourself permission to adjust without guilt. This flexibility combined with clarity keeps you moving forward without burning out. Time is your most precious gift to yourself. Treat it as such. Use it deliberately. Protect it fiercely. When you respect your time by using it with clarity, you send a powerful message to yourself and the world. You matter. Your goals matter. Your life matters. And every minute you have is an opportunity to build the future you want. The way you use your time today shapes everything tomorrow will be. So choose to act with clarity, purpose, and respect. You deserve nothing less. Chapter 11. Speak to yourself with belief, not fear. The way you talk to yourself shapes everything about your life. Your inner voice is the foundation for your thoughts, actions, and beliefs about what you can achieve. If you speak to yourself with fear, doubt, and criticism, you build a mindset that limits you before you even try. Fear-filled self-talk creates walls that block your progress and trap you in cycles of hesitation and defeat. But when you choose to speak to yourself with belief and encouragement, you open doors to possibilities. You fuel courage, resilience, and growth. Changing your inner dialogue is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward lasting change. Fear-based self-talk often sounds like a warning system designed to protect you from failure or harm. It tells you things like, "You're not good enough," "You will mess up," or "This is too hard." These messages can feel like facts when they first appear, but they are simply fears dressed as truth. The problem is that when you accept them as true, you limit your actions and stop reaching for your potential. Fearful self-talk tricks you into believing that playing it safe is the only way to survive. But survival is not enough for a full life. You deserve more than mere survival. You deserve growth. Belief-filled self-talk, on the other hand, looks at challenges and says, "I can learn, I can grow, or I am capable." This kind of language doesn't ignore difficulty or pain. It acknowledges them, but refuses to be defined by them. It gives you permission to try again after failure. It helps you see setbacks as lessons instead of final defeats. Speaking to yourself with belief doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing words that empower rather than paralyze. It means becoming your own strongest supporter rather than your harshest critic. The first step to speaking with belief is becoming aware of how you talk to yourself. Most people are unaware of their inner dialogue because it runs automatically. You might catch yourself thinking negative or fearful thoughts without realizing the impact they have. Start by paying attention to your mental conversations. When you notice fear or doubt creeping in, don't ignore it. Name it. Call it out. Recognize it as a pattern, not a truth. Awareness creates the space you need to change the narrative. Next, challenge those fear-filled thoughts. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Would I say this to a friend? Often you'll find that your fears are exaggerated or unfair. Fear speaks in absolutes and worst-case scenarios. Belief sees nuance and possibility. Replace the fearful sentiments with balanced and encouraging ones. For example, instead of "I can't do this," say "This is difficult, but I can take it step by step." Instead of "I'm going to fail," say "Failure is part of learning and I will keep trying." This shift in language rewires your brain to expect growth rather than defeat. Practice is essential because your brain is wired to focus on threats and negativity. Positive and belief-based self-talk won't replace fear overnight. It takes repetition and patience. Make a habit of speaking kindly and encouragingly to yourself every day. Remind yourself of your strengths, your progress, and your resilience. Celebrate small wins even if they seem insignificant. Over time, these words build a foundation of belief that supports your actions and decisions. Your mind will start to expect success and respond with confidence. It's also important to recognize that your self-talk influences your emotions. Fearful words create anxiety, doubt, and low energy. Belief-filled words create hope, calm, and motivation. When you speak with belief, you improve your emotional state, which fuels better choices and stronger habits. Your inner voice becomes a source of strength, not stress. This emotional shift is a key reason why mindset matters so much in any kind of personal growth. Remember that speaking with belief doesn't mean ignoring your challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means acknowledging difficulty with compassion and courage. You don't have to be overly positive or forced. Authentic belief allows room for struggle while still affirming your worth and potential. When you speak with belief, you honor your humanity. You accept that growth includes setbacks, but does not stop because of them. Another helpful practice is to use affirmations or mantras that feel true to you. Simple phrases like "I am enough," "I am growing every day," or "I trust myself" can serve as anchors when fear rises. Repeat these phrases when you feel overwhelmed or doubtful. Over time, they create a mental environment that nurtures belief and action. Affirmations work best when you connect emotionally with the words, not just repeat them mechanically. Be patient and gentle with yourself in this process. Changing your inner voice is like learning a new language. You will slip into old patterns at times, and that's okay. When you catch yourself speaking in fear, gently redirect your thoughts back to belief. This is a practice of kindness toward yourself as much as a strategy for success. The more you commit to speaking with belief, the more natural it becomes. Your inner voice shapes your identity. When you speak to yourself with belief, you build a strong sense of self that can face challenges without breaking. You become someone who doesn't avoid difficulty, but meets it with courage. You create the conditions for consistent growth because you believe you are capable. This belief motivates you to take action even when fear is present. It changes how you see yourself and what you expect from life. You are not your fears or doubts. Those are just thoughts that come and go. Your true self is the part of you that can observe those thoughts and choose how to respond. When you speak to yourself with belief, you strengthen that observing self. You create distance from limiting thoughts. You reclaim your power, and you open the door to possibilities that fear keeps closed. This change will not happen instantly, but every day you practice speaking to yourself with belief, you move closer to your potential. You begin to trust your own abilities and decisions more deeply. You approach challenges with a mindset that says, "I can figure this out," rather than "This is impossible." That mindset shifts your reality because it changes your actions. You try more, you learn more, you grow more. No one else can speak to you in your mind. Your inner voice is yours alone, so choose to make it your greatest ally. Speak to yourself with belief, because you deserve respect and kindness. Speak to yourself with belief, because your future depends on it. Seek tutor with belief, because you have more strength, wisdom, and potential than you realize. Your words have power. Use them wisely. Use them well. Use them to build the life you want. Chapter 12. Learn from failure instead of hiding from it. Failure is often seen as the enemy of success, but it is actually one of the most valuable teachers you will ever encounter. Most people run from failure because it feels uncomfortable and painful. They hide behind excuses, avoidance, or blame. They fear judgment and disappointment. But hiding from failure only prolongs suffering and stalls growth. When you learn to face failure and extract its lessons, you turn setbacks into stepping stones. You gain clarity about what doesn't work and insight into how to improve. Failure becomes not a dead end, but a crucial part of the journey toward your goals. To start learning from failure, you must first change your perspective. Failure is not a reflection of your worth or ability. It is a natural part of trying and growing. Every successful person has failed many times. The difference is they chose to learn rather than hide. This mindset shift is essential because it removes the shame and fear that make failure unbearable. Instead of fearing failure, you begin to see it as information. It tells you what needs adjustment, what can be done differently next time, and where your blind spots are. When failure happens, allow yourself to feel the disappointment or frustration fully. Suppressing these emotions only builds resistance to growth. But don't stay stuck in negative feelings. After acknowledging them, ask yourself, what can this failure teach me? What is the useful feedback here? How can I grow from this experience? These questions open a pathway from pain to progress. They focus your mind on solutions rather than on blame or regret. Another important step is to take responsibility for your part in the failure. This is not about harsh self-criticism, but about honest reflection. What actions or decisions contributed to this outcome? Where could you have acted differently? Taking responsibility gives you control because it shifts your focus from external factors to your own power to change. When you blame others or circumstances alone, you give away your power and remain stuck. It is helpful to separate your identity from your failures. Your mistakes do not define who you are. They are events, not labels. When you see failure as something that happens to you but not something you are, it becomes easier to face and learn from it. This separation allows you to be curious and open-minded instead of defensive. Curiosity leads to growth because it encourages exploration and adaptation. Learning from failure also requires patience and persistence. Sometimes the lessons aren't clear immediately. Sometimes you need to try multiple times before you find what works. That's part of the process. Growth is rarely linear. You will experience setbacks, frustration, and doubt. But each failure brings you closer to success if you keep learning. Persistence in the face of failure builds resilience and wisdom. It teaches you how to keep moving even when the path is hard. It's important to document or reflect on your failures regularly. Writing down what happened, how you felt, and what you learned can help you process the experience fully. Reflection turns raw emotions into clear insights. It helps you avoid repeating the same mistakes. It also allows you to celebrate small wins within failure. Moments when you tried your best, when you adapted, or when you showed courage despite uncertainty. Surrounding yourself with supportive people who encourage learning rather than judging mistakes is also vital. When you share your failures with others who understand that setbacks are part of growth, you feel less alone and more motivated. Supportive relationships provide feedback, perspective, and accountability. They remind you that failure is universal and not a sign of personal inadequacy. Another key aspect is using failure to build humility and gratitude. Failure humbles you by showing you that you don't have all the answers and that growth is ongoing. It reminds you that success is not guaranteed but earned. Gratitude comes from appreciating the opportunity to learn and improve. When you see failure through this lens, you develop a deeper respect for the process of growth and the effort it requires. Learning from failure also strengthens your problem-solving skills. Each failure challenges you to find new approaches, test different ideas, and think creatively. It forces you out of comfort zones and into experimentation. This mindset of exploration turns failure into a laboratory for growth, rather than a place of defeat. It's natural to fear failure because it threatens your sense of safety and competence. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to act despite fear. When you learn from failure, you practice courage daily. You train yourself to move forward even when the outcome is uncertain or when mistakes are possible. This courage is the foundation of resilience and achievement. Remember that failure doesn't have to be public to be valuable. Many personal failures happen quietly in the mind, in relationships or in habits. These private failures can be just as powerful for growth when faced honestly. You don't need an audience to learn and improve. What matters is your commitment to facing failure head-on and using it to build a better future. Finally, know that failure is temporary. It does not last forever unless you let it. When you embrace failure as part of learning, you transform it from a source of shame into a source of strength. You become someone who can handle uncertainty, adapt to change, and keep pursuing goals with resilience. Failure stops being something to avoid and becomes something to respect for the growth it offers. Your growth depends on your ability to learn from failure instead of hiding from it. When you choose to face failure with openness, honesty, and courage, you unlock the door to transformation. You become a lifelong learner who sees setbacks as necessary steps on the path to success. This mindset frees you to try more, risk more, and become more. The lessons you gain from failure are among the most valuable gifts you will ever receive. Embrace them fully and watch how your life changes. Chapter 13. Choose consistency over motivation every single day. Motivation is powerful but unpredictable. It comes and goes, like waves, leaving you dependent on feelings to take action. Relying on motivation alone creates an unstable foundation for growth, because when motivation fades, so does your effort and progress. Consistency, on the other hand, is the steady commitment you make to your goals regardless of how you feel. It is the daily practice of showing up even when motivation is low or challenges arise. Choosing consistency over motivation means prioritizing habits and discipline instead of fleeting emotions. This choice builds momentum that carries you forward over time and creates lasting transformation. Understanding that motivation fluctuates is important to avoid self-judgment when your energy or enthusiasm dips. Everyone experiences highs and lows, but consistent action is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. When you commit to consistency, you remove the pressure to feel motivated every day. Instead, you rely on a system that supports steady progress. This system can be as simple as setting small daily goals or creating routines that become automatic. These habits reduce the need for motivation because they become part of who you are rather than something you do only when inspired. Consistency also helps overcome resistance and fear that can block action when motivation is weak. Starting or continuing a task may feel difficult, but once you begin, the momentum builds. The first step often feels the hardest, but consistent effort makes the next steps easier. Over time, this steady work rewires your brain to associate action with reward rather than avoidance. You train yourself to focus on progress instead of perfection and to value persistence over quick results. When you choose consistency, you learn patience with the process of growth. Results rarely happen overnight, and relying on motivation can make you feel frustrated when immediate change doesn't occur. Consistency teaches you that small efforts repeated daily accumulate into significant improvements. It encourages you to trust the process and keep moving forward, even when progress feels slow. This mindset reduces anxiety and increases confidence because you know your success depends on your commitment, not just your feelings. Creating an environment that supports consistency is key. This means designing your day and habits so that taking action requires less willpower and decision-making. For example, preparing your workout clothes the night before or scheduling focused work sessions helps reduce excuses and delays. Automating positive behaviors makes it easier to maintain consistency even during busy or stressful times. You protect your goals by making the right actions the path of least resistance. Accountability can also strengthen consistency. Sharing your goals with a friend or coach creates external support and motivation to stay on track. Regular check-ins encourage reflection and adjustment, which keeps your efforts aligned with your priorities. Accountability turns consistency from a solitary struggle into a shared journey. It reminds you that your commitment matters not only to yourself, but to those who believe in you. It's important to be realistic about your capacity and avoid burnout. Consistency doesn't mean pushing yourself to extremes or neglecting rest. It means balancing effort with self-care so that your habits are sustainable long-term. Setting achievable goals and allowing flexibility helps maintain enthusiasm and prevents discouragement. Consistent action done with kindness and patience builds resilience rather than exhaustion. Celebrating small wins is another way to reinforce consistency. Acknowledging progress, no matter how minor, boosts motivation and confidence. It creates positive feedback loops that encourage continued effort. When you notice the difference your daily work makes, you are more likely to keep going. Consistency becomes rewarding not just because of future results, but because of the satisfaction found in the process itself. Choosing consistency over motivation also shifts your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through and keeps promises to yourself. This identity strengthens your sense of self-worth and integrity. When you consistently act in alignment with your goals, your confidence grows. You stop being controlled by temporary feelings and start leading your life with purpose and determination. Remember that consistency is not about perfection. Missing a day or facing setbacks does not erase your progress. It's about returning to your commitment again and again. This mindset frees you from the trap of all or nothing thinking that causes many to quit. Each day is a new opportunity to choose consistency and reinforce your path. Success is the sum of repeated efforts, not occasional bursts. Consistency creates momentum that multiplies over time. It turns small actions into habits, and habits into lifestyle changes. The power of consistency lies in its ability to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary results. By choosing consistency every day, you build a future that reflects your deepest goals and values. This choice empowers you to overcome obstacles, stay focused, and achieve lasting growth. Your commitment to consistency is the most reliable tool for self-improvement. It supports you through challenges and keeps your vision alive when motivation fades. The steady work you do today builds the foundation for the life you want tomorrow. Embrace consistency as your daily practice and watch how it shapes your transformation. The true strength of success is found not in motivation, but in the courage to keep going, no matter what. Chapter 14. Let go of blame and start taking responsibility. Blame is one of the most common but limiting reactions people have when things go wrong. It feels easier to point fingers outside yourself than to look inward and accept responsibility. Yet blaming others or circumstances only keeps you stuck. It prevents growth because it removes your power to change. When you blame, you hand over control of your life to forces beyond your influence. Taking responsibility is the opposite. It means owning your role in every situation and choosing to act differently moving forward. Letting go of blame and embracing responsibility is the foundation for true empowerment. Blame creates a story where you are a victim and others are the cause of your problems. This story feels familiar and justifiable, but it is also limiting. It convinces you that your future depends on others changing or external events improving. This mindset leads to frustration and helplessness. When you shift to responsibility, you see that no matter the circumstances, you have choices. You can choose how you respond. You can choose what actions to take. You can control your attitude and effort. This shift puts you back in the driver's seat of your life. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself harshly or feeling guilty. It means honest self-reflection. It means asking yourself what part you played in the outcome without judgment. When you do this, you gain clarity on what can be improved and where your power lies. Responsibility leads to solutions because it focuses on what you can control instead of what you cannot. It transforms problems into challenges you are capable of overcoming. Letting go of blame also requires releasing the need to control everything. Sometimes bad things happen due to factors outside your control. Taking responsibility means accepting reality without resistance. It means focusing your energy on your own actions rather than wasting it on anger or resentment. This acceptance is freeing because it allows you to move forward instead of getting stuck in the past. Practicing responsibility builds confidence and resilience. When you take ownership of your life, you stop waiting for others to fix your problems. You become proactive. You learn from mistakes and adjust your course. This mindset prepares you to handle future challenges with strength and clarity. Responsibility grows your sense of agency and self-worth because you know you are capable of shaping your destiny. To cultivate responsibility, start by noticing when you slip into blame. Awareness is the first step. Pay attention to your thoughts and words. When you catch yourself blaming others or external events, pause and ask, what is my part in this? What can I do differently? This simple question redirects your focus to action instead of complaint. Over time, it trains your mind to seek solutions and learn rather than criticize and avoid. Building responsibility also involves forgiving yourself and others. Holding on to blame creates bitterness and division. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior. It means releasing the emotional weight that keeps you tied to the past. Forgiveness creates space for healing and growth. It allows you to move forward with clarity and peace instead of carrying resentment. Taking responsibility can be challenging because it requires humility. It means admitting mistakes and accepting that you are not perfect. But this humility is strength, not weakness. It opens the door to learning and improvement. It connects you to your true self because it embraces honesty and courage. When you practice humility, you build trust in yourself and with others. Another important part of responsibility is setting clear boundaries. Taking ownership of your life includes protecting your energy and saying no to what doesn't serve you. Boundaries prevent others from taking advantage or interfering with your goals. They create a healthy environment for your growth. Responsibility means recognizing your limits and communicating them firmly and respectfully. Taking responsibility also means committing to consistent action. It's not enough to recognize your role once and then return to old habits. Responsibility requires daily choices that align with your goals and values. It means following through on promises to yourself and others. This consistency builds integrity and momentum that propel you forward. When you let go of blame and embrace responsibility, you experience greater freedom. Freedom from victimhood. Freedom from anger and frustration. Freedom to create the life you want regardless of circumstances. This freedom empowers you to pursue your goals with confidence and clarity. It opens new possibilities that blame would have blocked. Your relationships improve when you take responsibility because you become more trustworthy and reliable. Others feel safe knowing you own your actions and communicate honestly. This builds deeper connections and mutual respect. Responsibility creates a positive ripple effect that touches every area of your life. Remember that responsibility is a choice you make every day. You will face moments when blaming feels easier or more comfortable. In those moments, choose courage instead. Choose to look inward and ask how you can grow. Choose to act with honesty and intention. This choice transforms challenges into opportunities and setbacks into lessons. Letting go of blame and taking responsibility is a lifelong practice. It requires patience, kindness, and commitment. It will not always be easy, but it is always worth it. When you take responsibility, you reclaim your power. You become the author of your story rather than a character in someone else's. You build a life based on truth, integrity, and growth. Your future depends on your willingness to let go of blame and own your life fully. This step is the gateway to transformation and freedom. Choose responsibility today and watch how your life begins to shift. You have everything you need within you to create the change you desire. The power to grow, to heal, and to succeed is yours when you take responsibility and refuse to blame. Chapter 15. Create peace by simplifying your daily routine. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the constant demands on your time and attention. Your daily routine can become cluttered with unnecessary tasks, distractions, and commitments that drain your energy and peace of mind. Simplifying your daily routine is a powerful way to create calm and restore balance. When you remove complexity, you create space for clarity, focus, and inner peace. A simple routine allows you to live intentionally rather than reactively, giving you control over your day and reducing stress. Simplicity in your routine starts with understanding what truly matters to you. Often, we fill our days with habits or tasks that don't align with our values or goals. These activities might feel urgent but are not important. Take a moment to evaluate each part of your day honestly. Ask yourself which actions contribute to your well-being, growth, and happiness, and which ones just fill time without purpose. This awareness is the first step in letting go of unnecessary clutter. Once you identify what matters, begin to eliminate or reduce activities that don't serve your priorities. This might mean saying no to social invitations, cutting down on screen time, or simplifying meal preparations. Removing non-essential tasks frees up mental and physical energy. It allows you to focus deeply on the things that nourish your mind and body. A streamlined routine creates a natural rhythm that supports productivity and relaxation. Creating peace through simplification also involves organizing your environment. Physical clutter in your home or workspace can add to mental chaos. Take time to declutter and organize your surroundings so that everything has a place. When your space is tidy and orderly, your mind follows. You spend less time searching for things or feeling distracted. A calm environment supports a calm mind, making it easier to focus and recharge. A simplified routine also means establishing consistent habits that promote peace. Habits like waking up and going to bed at the same time, eating nourishing meals, and dedicating time to movement or meditation bring stability. When you repeat these positive actions daily, they become automatic and reduce decision fatigue. You save your mental energy for the most important choices rather than exhausting yourself on minor details. Consistency in simple habits builds a foundation for lasting peace. Another key to simplification is limiting multitasking. Trying to do too many things at once divides your attention and increases stress. Instead, focus on one task at a time with full presence. When you complete a task before moving to the next, you create a sense of accomplishment and control. This approach reduces overwhelm and increases your ability to enjoy the moment. Single tasking is a practice of mindfulness that supports mental clarity. Simplifying also means setting clear boundaries around your time and energy. Learn to say no to commitments that don't align with your peace and goals. Protect moments in your day for rest, reflection, and activities that bring you joy. Boundaries create a buffer against burnout and allow you to recharge. Respecting your limits is an essential part of maintaining a simple, peaceful routine. Technology can either help or hinder your peace depending on how you use it. Simplify your digital life by turning off unnecessary notifications, limiting social media use, and scheduling specific times for checking emails. These steps prevent constant interruptions and mental clutter. Using technology intentionally rather than reactively helps you stay present and focused. Planning your day in advance is another way to simplify and create peace. A clear plan reduces uncertainty and decision-making stress. When you know what to expect and what your priorities are, you feel more in control. Planning doesn't mean rigid scheduling, but having a flexible framework that guides your actions. This balance allows you to adapt while maintaining focus on what matters. Simplification also involves slowing down. Modern life often values speed and busyness, but moving too fast can disconnect you from yourself. Deliberately slowing your pace gives you time to breathe, think, and enjoy simple pleasures. This slower rhythm reduces anxiety and creates space for gratitude and presence. When your routine is simple and calm, you can savor each moment instead of rushing through life. Creating peace by simplifying your daily routine is not about doing less because you have to, but because you choose to. It is a conscious decision to focus on quality over quantity. This choice reflects respect for yourself and your well-being. Simplicity invites you to let go of perfectionism and embrace what is good enough. It frees you from the pressure to do everything and opens space for being. As you simplify, you will notice your energy improves and your mood lifts. You become more aware of your needs and better able to meet them. Your mind becomes clearer and more creative. You make decisions with greater ease and confidence. This peace radiates into your relationships, work, and all areas of life. Simplifying your routine is a form of self-care that supports long-term resilience. Remember that simplification is an ongoing process. Your needs and priorities may change over time. What feels peaceful today might feel cluttered tomorrow. Regularly revisit your routine and adjust as needed. This flexibility keeps your routine aligned with your evolving life and keeps peace at the center. In simplifying your routine, you create a foundation for growth, joy, and fulfillment. You reclaim your time and energy. You free yourself from unnecessary stress and distraction. This peace is not a luxury but a necessity for a meaningful life. When you simplify, you invite calm into your daily experience and build a life that supports your highest potential. Chapter 16. Ask better questions to find better direction. The quality of the questions you ask yourself shapes the quality of your life and the direction you take. Often we settle for easy or automatic questions that lead to limited answers and stagnant thinking. Asking better questions opens new possibilities and deeper insight. It helps you clarify your goals, uncover hidden obstacles, and discover meaningful solutions. Improving your questioning skill is a powerful tool for personal growth and finding clearer direction. When you ask yourself simple but shallow questions like "Why am I failing?" or "What went wrong?", you might feel stuck in blame or frustration. These questions focus on problems without inviting solutions or learning. Instead, try shifting your questions to ones that invite curiosity and action. For example, "What can I learn from this experience?" or "What small step can I take right now?" These questions spark creativity and encourage forward movement. They help you view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than roadblocks. Better questions are often open-ended and future-focused. They avoid yes or no answers and invite exploration. Instead of asking "Can I succeed?", ask "How can I create success in this situation?" or "What resources do I have to move forward?" These questions expand your thinking and help you generate multiple possibilities. They push you to take ownership of your progress and develop proactive strategies. Another key aspect of asking better questions is self-compassion. Harsh or judgmental questions like "Why am I so weak?" or "What's wrong with me?" deepen negative emotions and self-doubt. These questions close off your mind and reduce motivation. Replace them with gentle and empowering questions, such as "What support do I need right now?" or "How can I be kind to myself while growing?" These questions nurture resilience and openness, making it easier to stay committed to improvement. Developing the habit of asking better questions requires practice and mindfulness. When you catch yourself stuck in unhelpful questioning, pause and reframe. Take a few deep breaths and ask yourself a new question that invites possibility. Journaling can be a useful tool here. Writing down your thoughts allows you to explore questions more fully and notice patterns. Over time, this habit trains your mind to approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear. It's also important to tailor your questions to your current goals and situation. Effective questions are relevant and specific. If you want to improve your health, ask "What small change can I make today to feel healthier?" If you want to build better relationships, ask "How can I communicate more clearly and listen better?" Targeted questions guide your attention and energy toward meaningful action. They prevent distraction and overwhelm by focusing on what matters most. Better questions also help you break through mental blocks and limiting beliefs. When you feel stuck or doubtful, ask "What belief is holding me back?" or "What evidence do I have that contradicts this fear?" These questions challenge assumptions and create space for new perspectives. They encourage you to test your thoughts and replace limiting beliefs with empowering truths. Collaboration and seeking input from others can enhance your ability to ask better questions. Talking with trusted friends, mentors, or coaches introduces new viewpoints and prompts questions you might not consider alone. Other people's questions can reveal blind spots and deepen your understanding. This exchange enriches your problem-solving and direction-finding process. Asking better questions also means being patient with the answers. Sometimes, clarity does not come immediately. Complex questions may require reflection, research, or experimentation. Allow yourself the time and space to explore without rushing to conclusions. This patience fosters deeper insight and prevents impulsive decisions that may not serve you well. Good questions lead to better decisions because they uncover essential information and highlight priorities. They help you weigh options carefully and consider consequences. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond thoughtfully. This thoughtful approach builds confidence and reduces regret because your actions are guided by clarity rather than confusion. The habit of asking better questions also connects you to your values and purpose. Questions like "What matters most to me?" or "How does this align with my goals?" keep you grounded in your true priorities. This connection prevents distraction by superficial desires or societal pressures. It ensures that your direction reflects who you really are and what you truly want. Better questions empower you to take responsibility for your life. They move you from victimhood to agency by focusing on what you can control and influence. They encourage problem-solving rather than blame. This empowerment fuels motivation and helps you sustain progress even when obstacles arise. To develop this skill, consider setting aside time daily to ask yourself thoughtful questions. Use this time for reflection or journaling. Over time, these moments become a compass that guides your decisions and actions. You start noticing patterns in your thinking and areas where growth is needed. This awareness is the foundation for meaningful change. Remember that the questions you ask yourself influence your emotions and mindset. Positive and constructive questions create hope, curiosity, and confidence. Negative or limiting questions create fear, doubt, and stagnation. By consciously choosing better questions, you shape your inner dialogue and emotional state in ways that support growth and direction. Asking better questions is a lifelong practice that deepens with experience and self-awareness. Your questions will evolve as you grow and your goals change. Stay curious and open to new questions that challenge and inspire you. This ongoing process keeps your mind flexible and your path clear. Ultimately, better questions help you find clarity amid complexity. They guide you toward the actions that matter most. They unlock creativity and resilience. They connect you to your purpose and value. When you commit to asking better questions every day, you equip yourself with a powerful tool to navigate life's challenges and opportunities with confidence and wisdom. Chapter 17. Strengthen your discipline with small daily promises. Discipline is often misunderstood as a grand effort or a monumental willpower battle, but in reality it is built through small, consistent actions over time. Strengthening your discipline begins with making daily promises to yourself that are manageable and meaningful. These small commitments act like building blocks. Each one reinforces your ability to follow through and creates a chain of trust between you and yourself. When you keep these promises, no matter how simple, you develop reliability and self-respect that fuel bigger achievements. Starting with small daily promises is practical because it removes the intimidation that often stops people from acting. When the promise is easy to accomplish, your mind doesn't resist. It becomes natural to honor your word. This consistency trains your brain to expect success and builds momentum. The positive feelings associated with keeping promises become motivating signals that encourage continued effort. Over time, these small wins accumulate into strong habits and greater discipline. The key is to choose promises that are specific, realistic, and aligned with your goals. For example, promising yourself to write for 5 minutes a day, drink a glass of water in the morning, or take a short walk after lunch. These actions might seem minor, but they signal your commitment to improvement. Setting achievable promises prevents overwhelm and builds confidence in your ability to follow through. Another benefit of small daily promises is that they create a feedback loop of accountability. Each day you check in with yourself to see if you kept your promise. This awareness sharpens your focus and keeps your intentions clear. When you occasionally miss a promise, the natural reaction should be reflection rather than judgment. Ask yourself what made it hard and how to adjust. This learning process strengthens your discipline because it encourages problem solving and adaptation instead of discouragement. Making daily promises also helps you overcome procrastination. The act of deciding on a small commitment lowers the barrier to starting. When the task feels manageable, your mind is less likely to resist. This is especially useful for projects or habits that feel overwhelming. Breaking them down into daily promises simplifies the path forward and makes action possible even on low-energy days. Consistency in keeping daily promises builds emotional resilience as well. When you trust yourself to keep your word, you feel more secure and confident. This self-trust becomes a foundation that supports you during difficult times. You know you can rely on your discipline even when motivation is lacking or challenges arise. This reliability reduces self-doubt and increases your ability to persevere. It's important to communicate your daily promises positively. Instead of framing promises as obligations or punishments, see them as opportunities to honor yourself and grow. This mindset creates enthusiasm rather than resistance. For example, instead of "I have to exercise today," say "I promise to move my body to feel stronger." This positive language aligns your discipline with self-care and motivation. Tracking your promises can amplify their impact. Use a journal, app, or calendar to mark each day you keep your promise. Visualizing progress creates satisfaction and reinforces the habit loop. It also provides evidence of your growth that you can reflect on during moments of doubt. Seeing a streak of kept promises encourages you to maintain momentum. Building discipline with small promises also means being flexible and kind with yourself. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes you will miss a day or face obstacles. Missing a promise is not failure, but a signal to reassess and adjust. The goal is progress, not perfection. Returning to your commitments after a slip shows true discipline because it demonstrates resilience and commitment to growth. Another helpful strategy is pairing your daily promise with an existing habit or routine. This technique, known as habit stacking, makes the new promise easier to remember and complete. For example, if you already brush your teeth every morning, add a promise to do 5 minutes of stretching right after. This connection anchors the new behavior to a well-established one, reducing the mental effort required. Small daily promises strengthen your discipline by shifting your identity. When you consistently keep your word to yourself, you begin to see yourself as a reliable, committed person. This identity shift changes how you approach challenges and opportunities. You become someone who follows through and values integrity. This self-image supports continued growth and builds confidence in your ability to achieve goals. Discipline gained from small promises also improves other areas of your life. It spills over into relationships, work, and health, because the habit of keeping commitments enhances your overall reliability. Others notice your consistency and trust you more. You create a foundation of order and intention that makes bigger challenges feel manageable. Remember that discipline is not about force or harshness, but about building trust through gentle, consistent action. Small daily promises are a sustainable way to develop this trust. They teach you to respect your word and nurture your potential. When you strengthen discipline in this way, you empower yourself to pursue long-term goals with patience and confidence. As you practice keeping daily promises, your capacity for discipline expands naturally. What once felt difficult becomes easier. You gain momentum and confidence. Your self-control deepens and your motivation strengthens. This growth is the result of simple but powerful choices made day after day. Commit to making small promises today. Honor those promises no matter what. Use each kept promise as evidence of your strength and dedication. Celebrate your progress and adjust as needed without judgment. Through this process, you build a disciplined life rooted in trust, integrity, and steady growth. Your future self will thank you for the commitment you make today. Chapter 18. Trust your path, even when progress feels slow. Trusting your path, even when progress feels slow, is one of the most difficult yet vital lessons in personal growth. It's natural to want quick results and visible signs of advancement, but meaningful change often happens beneath the surface in ways that are not immediately obvious. When you learn to trust your journey despite slow progress, you cultivate patience, resilience, and faith in your own efforts. This trust becomes a steady anchor that carries you through uncertainty and discouragement. Progress rarely moves in a straight line. There are days when it feels like you are taking huge steps forward, and other times when it seems like nothing is happening. These slower periods can feel frustrating and lead to doubt. But slow progress is not a sign of failure. It is part of the natural rhythm of growth. Just like a seed takes time to sprout beneath the soil before breaking through, your efforts are developing strength and foundation even when you can't see immediate results. Trust grows from understanding that transformation requires consistent effort over time. Small actions repeated daily build momentum that compounds gradually. Even if the changes are subtle or invisible to others, they are happening inside you. Your skills sharpen, your mindset shifts, and your habits strengthen. This inner work is essential and lays the groundwork for future breakthroughs. Trusting your path means valuing this unseen progress as much as the visible milestones. It helps to focus on the process rather than obsessing over the outcome. When your attention is on what you do each day, rather than when you will arrive, you reduce anxiety and impatience. Enjoy the act of learning, growing, and trying again. This mindset creates satisfaction and motivation Even during slow phases, you begin to appreciate that growth itself is the reward and that your daily efforts are meaningful regardless of immediate success. Comparing your progress to others is a common trap that undermines trust. Everyone's path is unique with different timing, challenges, and resources. When you measure yourself against others, you may feel inadequate or discouraged. Instead, keep your focus on your own journey and values. Celebrate your personal wins and recognize your individual pace. Trusting your path means embracing your own story without judgment or comparison. Reflection can deepen your trust when progress feels slow. Take time to look back on how far you have come, even if it's hard to see. What skills have you developed? What challenges have you overcome? What have you learned about yourself? This perspective reveals progress that daily busyness might obscure. Acknowledging growth reinforces confidence that your path is moving you forward, even when it feels gradual. Trust also requires patience with yourself and the process. It means accepting that not all change happens on your preferred timeline. Life's complexities often create delays or detours that are beyond your control. Instead of resisting these challenges, you learn to flow with them. This acceptance creates peace and reduces frustration. Patience allows you to stay committed without losing hope or enthusiasm. Building trust involves cultivating faith in your inner wisdom and intuition. When external signs of progress are scarce, your internal guidance becomes vital. Pay attention to feelings of alignment, clarity, and purpose. These subtle signals indicate that you are on the right track. Trusting your path means listening deeply to yourself and honoring what feels authentic and meaningful. It's important to remind yourself that setbacks and slowdowns are normal parts of growth, not evidence of failure. These moments test your commitment and resilience. When you encounter obstacles, view them as opportunities to strengthen your determination and refine your approach. Trusting your path means seeing challenges as necessary steps rather than dead ends. Support from others can reinforce your trust during slow progress. Share your journey with friends, mentors, or communities that encourage and believe in you. Their perspective can provide reassurance and fresh insight. Hearing stories of others who persevered through slow seasons can inspire patience and hope. Connection reminds you that you are not alone in the experience of gradual growth. Celebrate small victories along the way. Recognize the daily choices you make that align with your goals. Each moment of discipline, learning, or courage builds your future success. These small wins create positive momentum and keep your spirits high. Trusting your path means valuing these incremental achievements as signs of progress. Maintaining a clear vision of your purpose strengthens trust during slow periods. When you remember why you started and what you hope to achieve, you fuel motivation and resilience. This vision acts as a compass guiding your steps even when the way forward seems unclear. Trust grows when your actions connect to a meaningful goal beyond immediate results. When progress feels slow, it's helpful to reframe your thinking. Instead of focusing on how much remains to be done, focus on what you have accomplished and what you are learning. Shift from impatience to curiosity. Ask yourself what new insights or skills this phase is offering. This reframing transforms frustration into opportunity and deepens your trust in the journey. Remember that success and growth are not just about speed or quantity, but about depth and quality. Slow progress often means you are building a stronger foundation that will support lasting change. Rushing can lead to burnout or shallow results. Trusting your path means valuing the depth of your transformation, even if it takes time. Your commitment to your path, despite slow progress, is a powerful act of courage. It shows belief in yourself and your potential. This belief becomes a source of strength that sustains you when motivation wanes. Trusting your path is an ongoing practice that deepens with experience. Each day you choose to keep going, you reinforce your faith in the process and in yourself. Ultimately, trusting your path is about embracing uncertainty with confidence. It means accepting that you cannot control every outcome or timeline, but you can control your commitment and effort. This trust frees you from anxiety and doubt. It allows you to move forward with peace and purpose. When you learn to trust your path, even when progress feels slow, you build resilience, wisdom, and lasting success. Chapter 19. Connect with people who challenge and support you. Building meaningful connections with people who both challenge and support you is essential for personal growth and lasting fulfillment. Relationships that push you to grow encourage you to step beyond your comfort zone, while supportive connections provide the encouragement and safety necessary to keep moving forward. When you surround yourself with individuals who offer both challenge and support, you create an environment that nurtures your development and resilience. Choosing to connect with people who challenge you means seeking relationships where honest feedback is welcomed. These individuals ask tough questions, hold you accountable, and inspire you to raise your standards. Their presence pushes you to reflect more deeply on your beliefs, habits, and goals. They prevent complacency and motivate continuous improvement. Challenge is not about criticism, but about encouragement to become the best version of yourself. At the same time, support is crucial because growth can feel uncomfortable or vulnerable. Supportive people listen without judgment, celebrate your wins, and offer kindness during setbacks. They provide emotional safety that allows you to take risks and learn from mistakes. Feeling supported fosters confidence and reduces fear of failure. A balanced mix of challenge and support creates a strong foundation for transformation. It is important to recognize the value of diversity in these connections. Different perspectives and experiences broaden your understanding and expand your possibilities. Connecting with people from varied backgrounds, professions, and mindsets enriches your worldview and enhances creativity. Exposure to different ideas challenges your assumptions and encourages flexible thinking. This diversity also increases your adaptability in a rapidly changing world. Building such connections requires intentional effort and openness. Start by identifying the qualities you want in your relationships: honesty, encouragement, curiosity, or resilience, and seek out individuals who embody these traits. This might mean joining groups aligned with your interests or values, attending workshops, or engaging in communities where growth is prioritized. Being proactive expands your circle with meaningful connection. Effective communication is key to fostering relationships that challenge and support you. Express your goals and desires clearly so others understand your intentions. Be willing to listen deeply and receive feedback with openness rather than defensiveness. Sharing your struggles and successes invites others to respond authentically. This openness builds trust and deepens connection. Mutual respect is essential in these relationships. Challenge should never feel like judgment or hostility, and support should not foster dependency. When both parties respect boundaries and autonomy, growth occurs in a healthy, sustainable way. Respectful challenge pushes you to grow while respecting your pace and limits. Support offers encouragement without enabling avoidance of responsibility. Investing time and energy into your relationships creates stronger bonds. Regular check-ins, shared experiences, and acts of kindness strengthen trust and connection. When you prioritize these relationships, you signal their importance and build a network of encouragement. A strong support system increases your resilience in the face of difficulties. Recognizing when a relationship no longer serves your growth is equally important. Some connections drain your energy or reinforce negative patterns. Learning to set boundaries or step away from such relationships creates space for more positive influences. Prioritize connections that lift you up and challenge you constructively. Reciprocating challenge and support makes these relationships balanced and meaningful. Offer honest feedback with care and celebrate others' progress. Being a source of encouragement and constructive challenge to others deepens your own growth. This reciprocal dynamic creates a cycle of continuous development and shared success. Technology provides opportunities to connect beyond physical boundaries. Online communities, forums, and social media groups focused on growth can connect you with like-minded individuals worldwide. However, it is important to maintain real-life connections as well to build deeper trust and understanding. Balance virtual and face-to-face interactions for a rich support network. Navigating conflict in relationships that challenge you requires patience and maturity. Differences of opinion or feedback can create tension. Approach conflict as an opportunity for deeper understanding rather than confrontation. Seek to understand the other person's perspective and express your feelings clearly. Resolving conflicts strengthens the relationship and models healthy communication. Connecting with mentors or coaches can accelerate your growth by providing expert challenge and guidance. These relationships offer tailored feedback and strategies to overcome obstacles. Mentors provide perspective from experience and help you see beyond current limitations. Support from skilled guides empowers you to move confidently toward your goals. Engaging with peers who share your goals fosters camaraderie and motivation. Peer groups provide accountability and celebrate milestones together. They create a sense of belonging and shared purpose. This connection reduces feelings of isolation during challenging times and increases commitment to growth. Cultivating empathy within your relationships enhances support and challenge. Understanding others' experiences and emotions deepens connection and improves communication. Empathy allows you to challenge kindly and support authentically. It creates a safe space for honest dialogue and vulnerability. Gratitude expressed toward those who challenge and support you strengthens bonds. Regularly acknowledge the role others play in your growth. Expressing appreciation encourages continued positive interaction and builds mutual respect. Ultimately, connecting with people who challenge and support you is a dynamic process that requires self-awareness and courage. It means being willing to face discomfort for the sake of growth while embracing kindness and encouragement. These relationships become a mirror reflecting your potential and a source of strength in your journey. By intentionally surrounding yourself with challenge and support, you create a rich environment for personal transformation. This balance pushes you to expand your limits while providing the care necessary to sustain effort. Such connections remind you that growth is not a solitary path, but a shared journey. They inspire, motivate, and hold you accountable. When you nurture these relationships, you build a community that uplifts your spirit and propels you forward toward your best self. Chapter 20. Celebrate small progress and keep showing up anyway. Recognizing and celebrating small progress is a powerful way to fuel long-term success and personal growth. When you acknowledge even the tiniest steps forward, you create positive reinforcement that motivates continued effort. These small victories remind you that change is happening, even if it is gradual, and help prevent discouragement when results feel distant. Celebrating progress, no matter how modest, builds momentum and strengthens your commitment to keep showing up day after day. Often people overlook their incremental gains because they focus only on big achievements or final outcomes. This mindset can lead to frustration and impatience. However, growth is a process made up of countless small actions and decisions. Each effort you make adds up over time to create significant transformation. When you pause to honor these moments, you deepen your awareness of progress and increase your motivation. Celebration does not require grand gestures or external rewards. It can be as simple as a moment of gratitude, a mental acknowledgement, or sharing your success with a supportive person. These acts generate positive feelings that reinforce your habits and mindset. Celebrating small wins also strengthens your self-confidence and reminds you of your capability to grow and improve. Consistently showing up, even when progress feels slow or invisible, is the true test of commitment. Discipline and persistence are developed through repeated effort, not just occasional bursts of motivation. When you make a habit of showing up, You build trust in yourself and your process. This reliability creates a strong foundation for breakthroughs and long-lasting change. Life will always present obstacles, distractions, and days when motivation is low. Choosing to keep showing up despite these challenges is a powerful demonstration of resilience and dedication. It means prioritizing your goals and values over temporary feelings or external circumstances. This steady commitment increases your capacity to overcome setbacks and maintain forward momentum. A useful mindset is to view progress as a journey rather than a destination. This perspective encourages patience and acceptance of ups and downs. It allows you to appreciate the learning and growth embedded in every step, not just the end result. When you celebrate small progress, you reinforce this journey mindset, which reduces frustration and supports sustained effort. Tracking your progress visually, such as with a journal, calendar, or checklist, can enhance your ability to recognize small wins. Seeing a record of your efforts provides tangible proof of growth and encourages consistency. It also helps you identify patterns, strengths, and areas for adjustment. This awareness empowers you to make informed decisions and stay motivated. Sharing your progress with others can amplify the power of celebration. When you communicate your efforts and successes, you receive encouragement and accountability. Others' recognition boosts your morale and inspires continued action. At the same time, sharing your journey fosters connection and can inspire those around you to pursue their own growth. It's important to balance celebration with humility and continued effort. Acknowledging progress does not mean becoming complacent or resting on your laurels. Instead, it energizes you to keep moving forward with renewed focus and enthusiasm. Celebrating progress and showing up regularly work together to create a cycle of positive reinforcement and persistent action. Sometimes progress may be non-linear or come with setbacks. Even on difficult days, commit to showing up in some way, no matter how small the action. These moments of consistency maintain your connection to your goals and prevent loss of momentum. Over time, these small actions accumulate and rebuild your path towards success. Self-compassion plays a critical role in this process. Celebrate progress with kindness rather than judgment. Avoid harsh self-criticism if you stumble or progress slows. Treat yourself as you would a close friend who is working hard. This compassionate attitude sustains motivation and protects your mental well-being. Reminding yourself of your reasons for starting can deepen your commitment to show up every day. Connect your daily efforts to your larger purpose and vision. This connection creates meaning that transcends immediate challenges or setbacks. Celebrating progress is a way of honoring that purpose and reinforcing your dedication. Celebrate not only what you achieve, but also the effort and courage it takes to keep going. Recognize the strength it requires to face fears, doubts, and obstacles. This acknowledgement boosts your confidence and resilience. It transforms the act of showing up from a chore into a source of pride and empowerment. Focus on progress over perfection. Waiting for perfect conditions or complete results before celebrating can lead to missed opportunities for motivation. Embrace imperfection as part of growth and honor every step you take toward your goals. This mindset shift encourages action and reduces procrastination. Creating rituals around celebration can make the habit more natural and enjoyable. Whether it's a few moments of reflection, a small treat, or sharing gratitude, rituals mark progress and create positive association. These routines reinforce your commitment and make celebrating progress a joyful practice. Remember that success is a series of small wins compounded over time. Big achievements are built on the foundation of consistent daily efforts and celebration. Each step forward is meaningful and deserves recognition. When you celebrate small progress and keep showing up anyway, you build a resilient, motivated, and fulfilling life focused on continuous improvement.